videos where you have an officer basically around the neck area.
These two retired Vegas cops, now podcast hosts.
They don't have ID. They can't get into a hotel room.
To get them the help they need, especially if someone even gets arrested. A lot of people don't know how the justice system works.
But I want someone to actually know them and know that it's...
Hey, this is David Kohlmeyer, the Problem Solver. Thanks so much for joining us today. Every single week, we're meeting great people talking about their expertise or events or things that have happened in their lives. As usual, the goal is the Problem Solver is to help people within the community in Las Vegas. We're here at Sticky Paw Studios every Thursday, 6 p.m., a little bit earlier today at 5:15. But we're here live basically talking to some different people today. Interesting but sad situation that we're going to go through, but I want to see if we can get... some information and that basically that we can help solve a cold case and get some information out there. So again, I'm David Kohlmeyer, the problem solver, retired police officer from Henderson and also New York City. So the goal here is to basically help people and solve some problems. Today, my co-host, as usual, it's been a little bit. Jean T, thanks so much for joining us as my co-host.
Yay, hi.
So
y'all miss me, right?
Yes, of course. So it's been a little bit. So we're back here and the last few weeks have been busy for both of us, but I'm glad today we have Thomas Lenner. Thomas, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on, David.
So I know we spoke a while ago. I know you had it's a very serious situation, sad situation. I wanted to bring you on the show because it is a cold case, and we do bring on different cold cases from time to time. As usual, as the problem solver, as a retired police officer, my goal is really just to help. I know that you've also started a GoFundMe page, so to me, at least, that's something that I want to do. We're definitely tied into, as the problem solver, tied into several different private investigators as well when we talk about your situation. My goal is always to reach out and get some help and see what we can do to help any situation or any problem, locally and anywhere in the world, whatever I can do. Sometimes just, talking about a topic helps. So, Thomas, your stepdaughter, basically Rachel Brooks, you would say was murdered in 2020. And I wanted to get the story of what happened so we can let people know. And once this is out there, we're going to share it with everybody and see what kind of insight we get. So tell us a little bit about Rachel.
Yeah, first of all, I raised my daughter since she was 5. She's my stepdaughter. And, unfortunately, she's the victim of more than 7 years of domestic violence and violent sexual assault. And in the beginning of the 7 years, my wife and I went out to the apartment, and I took my daughter aside. I said, "You got to be kidding me. Get rid of the loser." Okay? The police at that time told the perpetrator to just stay away for the night. They didn't arrest him. Okay?
How long were they dating for?
Over 7 years.
Okay, dating 7 years.
Over 7 years.
Any
yeah.
kids that they had?
Not married, right?
No, not married. Lennox is now 8 years old.
He's the one in the picture?
Yes.
Okay.
And the biggest red flag, one of the biggest red flags, is we're not allowed to see him. And in Nevada, there's no grandparent rights.
That is an issue. I've heard that before.
So that's a huge red flag right there.
Because technically you're not blood related, right? You personally.
Well, my wife is, though.
Wife is okay.
Yeah.
So your wife cannot see him?
We cannot see him, no. And
you went to court?
Well, we didn't go to court because the lawyers that I talked to said it's no use. He doesn't have to have a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a friendly
state for grandparents.
There's no grandparent rights. Period.
Okay.
So I talked to the top attorneys. Even if you spent the money, probably not going to get it.
Okay, so that's one issue that I definitely want to work on. I've heard this before with the grandparents. Once in a blue moon, it comes up in topics when I talk to different people. But I guess you're right, because even though if I'm saying you're the stepfather, in general, that your wife basically is that's the grandson.
Yes.
Biological.
The pure blood, yeah.
So definitely for her, there should be no reason, but I definitely want to look into that aspect. So they were not married. Rachel was not married. They were dating for 7 years, right?
7 plus, yes.
7 plus years. And they lived together?
On and off.
On and off lived together, okay.
On and off.
And so tell us what happened. Tell us what happened that night.
So, you know, there was a custody battle going on. So keep in mind, the police were called out many times during the 7-year time frame. And the perpetrator, and I'm not going to use any names here, but the perpetrator was never arrested one time. Okay, this is over a 7-year period. Now, a lot of people aren't aware of this. My other daughter suffered domestic violence. And one of the things she explained to me is they don't reveal things to anybody because they're afraid. Why are they afraid? Because the perpetrator threatens them. This is friggin' reality. This is not La La Land.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay? So we didn't know really what was going on.
Oh, wow.
Okay? All of a sudden now, COVID-19 hits. The domestic violence and violent sexual assault accelerated. Okay? Because my daughter had a son, she was willing to go to a counselor and talk it out and see what they can work out. I talked to the counselor.
Quick question. How do you know it was a domestic violence situation? She told you?
Well, as
What
you
were the
know,
comments that she made?
well, as you know, I started to recover. She started to reveal toward the end what was happening. Also, I went to Apple. Apple forensic technicians recovered, okay? Stuff like this,
Bruises?
okay?
That's her. So it's her
That's-
camera. They recovered
Yes.
this from her camera.
She documented photos
Yes.
of injuries.
Stuff like this. What's going on? Domestic violence.
But you never knew. You guys never knew.
No. I mean, this is, you know,
What are the dates? Do you know the dates of that?
this is within the 2000 year frame.
2000 year frame.
I can get the exact dates because every time you
Wait,
move,
say 2020?
yes, every time you move the picture, the date changes. But the Apple forensic technicians, there was a lady there from SafeNest,
Okay.
and when she's looking through videos and all this stuff, she broke down. She broke down. She says, "I got to tell you something. I want you to call SafeNest. I'm the victim of domestic violence, violent sexual rape. I was beaten to a pulp. 2 weeks I was in a hospital. This is an Apple, a lady that worked at Apple, that hooked me up with SafeNest. The challenge with SafeNest, believe it or not, they're afraid of the police. I know this sounds weird, but there's a program called PS417. They came out in 2017. When there's a domestic violence call, Metro is supposed to call up SafeNest to sound out a qualified domestic violence, sexual assault counselor to ascertain the situation. Guess what?
They never called.
They never called. And
Wait a
guess
second. The PS417, I've never heard of that.
PS417.
The PS417, I've never heard that was in 2017.
Yes, but it exists today. I sent you the video. I sent YouTube
Okay.
video where you've got Steve Wolfson, the former Sheriff Lombardo, bragging about how great a program this
So
is.
this was to notify SafeNest.
Yes, but the reality is, and I called SafeNest up. I talked to many people. But one of the gals just said to me, "Listen to me. I'm just going to tell you straight up. The police don't use it. Okay, and I'm afraid
Why?
I'm afraid to tell you this because I don't want to lose my job. The police control everything, and including the media. You know David Charms from Channel 8?
He's
No.
a reporter.
Yes. He was on this case in the beginning.
Okay.
He's from Boston. He was a new reporter for Channel 8.
I think he's been here actually. By the way, Chase, I'm going to send that video to YouTube video about PS417. Once you get it, if you could play it.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got the video. Yeah, I sent it
You
over
send me.
to
I'm playing
okay.
right now. Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Did they not do any of those things, or he was never arrested because she didn't press charges? Does someone have to press charges even after you call them? to the property?
So technically, if it's a
during
domestic battery,
violence?
if the police show up and basically believe it's domestic battery, it's a must arrest. It's a primary physical
Thank
aggressor
you.
must get arrested,
Thank
right?
you.
Now, this is something new. It'll be interesting to watch the video here.
Okay.
But PS 417, I mean, I never heard of that in general, but I retired 1995, I guess 3 years prior to before that. Every place is different. We'll double check. But
So you're saying that even if they come out and the person doesn't press charges, they still would arrest them?
they still
Or they
arrest the
can?
primary aggressor, but it's different because if I go to a location and there's a video or something where either if I spit at you or I bite you or whatever, they're going to look to see what marks are on us. But if they don't see any marks or injuries or someone doesn't admit anything, then basically it may be more difficult. But on the most part, if there was any type of markings that he's showing,
Yeah.
someone would be arrested for it. But
okay.
you still have to call the police or someone's calling 911 and remaining anonymous or something like that to get the police there. Sometimes people will walk away, they'll run, they'll drive a car, then
Right.
they're unable to determine if there's a domestic battery situation. But I will share with you one thing. When I was a New York City cop and there was domestic battery, like it was called it's been a long time, but whenever it was domestic battery, a call, and they said this is the intersection of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana, and a cop would show up, they would still have to do a domestic battery report that said unfounded, nobody was at the location. So they would document the date and the time and the location that the cop actually showed up, so no one basically, for liability purposes, right? And then also for tracking, if you said, hey, I called the police one time and I was at Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana, but I left the location, you can go back and see that report was done and was unfounded, and they can use the event numbers to showcase that was the incident that person was involved in. So for tracking purposes, because a lot of people are victims, they don't want to share information, they're afraid or financial or they're threatened or maybe because of the child and stuff like that. So, it's definitely a hard situation in regards to that. But normally there is must arrest as a primary physical aggressor. You have 217, you have that YouTube?
Yep.
Let's play that video. Let's see what it is.
All right, let me get
'Cause I
the
haven't
sound
seen
up. And here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Sean Cody here with Northwest Area Command Graveyard. I'm here to tell you guys about the SafeNest expansion that's going to be coming your way. I know a lot of you have heard about SafeNest, and I know a lot of you are still wondering what exactly they do. Well, I'm here to tell you that SafeNest is a direct on-site resource for those that have been victimized in domestic violence. When SafeNest is called out to the location, an advocate will actually come to your location and speak with the victim one-on-one and give them that personal information on how they can get out of that situation.
The biggest challenge to us is trying to make those people feel, number one, comfortable, number two, safe, and number three, like there's somebody that they can trust during a process that oftentimes is scary, confusing, and quite frankly, just something that they don't want to be a part of.
As officers on a lot of these domestic violence calls, the victims need a lot of help that we can't give or that they just are afraid to actually talk to us about. By having SafeNest there, it's a third party that actually has them sometimes open up in an avenue that they would never allow a badge or a uniform do.
So to have people who have an answer off the top of their head, hey, we have a place for you. You're going to be safe there. We have a bed available to you. You can bring your children. Any of those things are going to provide so much comfort to an individual who's trying to leave a dangerous situation.
Right now, SafeNest is going to be expanding. Instead of just a couple area commands using it, it's going to be valley-wide for all of our area commands to use.
We're a big city. We're the 13th largest county in the country, and with size comes the normal problems of any big city, and domestic violence is certainly one of them. As officers, we're on a domestic violence call. It's as simple as just requesting for SafeNest over the air. Dispatch will give them a call, and they'll give you an estimated time, and they'll be there very shortly.
SafeNest is our resource on the police department. It's the very epitome, it's the very complete answer to the issues we deal with in police work as far as domestic violence. It's an alternate resources for a victim and or suspect to draw upon our exit.
In my personal experience, using SafeNest has actually saved multiple lives. It's helped those victims see clearly that they need to get out of that relationship or get out of that house, not only for themselves and sometimes for the kids. By using SafeNest, they see these other avenues and options that they can do to get out of this pit that they're in and that they don't want to continue to be in. And that is why I'm very excited for SafeNest to be expanding valley-wide for all officers to use. Thanks everybody for watching. Be safe out there.
Okay, so that's interesting because what I will share with you is previously for domestic battery, there's normally a blue card if someone gets arrested or not arrested. And on the card, basically, it talks about domestic battery and this counseling. You can call these different numbers. But we would never go like on the air and say, request safeness. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen. So I do think it's really good. And then most likely what happens is to cover the cop, basically, I'm sure in his report, it would say safeness notified, right? To prevent a murder for something happening. Back in the day, when I first came out here, I thought it was interesting since I was a New York City cop. They never had this. But as a New York City cop coming out to Vegas, if someone was suicidal and they had suicidal thoughts, they would notify a mental health place. And they would come out, and the cop would have to wait till the mental health person would come there if they thought they were depressed and wanted to kill themselves. If you don't say that I want to kill myself or kill others, then the cop can't do this mental health hold on you. So back in the day, they were doing that. So it's interesting. I think for mental health, and I think for domestic battery, I think it's good for them to call people out. But sometimes, depending upon just
Situation.
no, is there enough people that are going to go out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? From these different nonprofit organizations. People say about defunding the police, but the bottom line is, are there enough nonprofit, mental health people, volunteers to go out? Because that's one of the problems. Think about it. It's a large city, right? Henderson, North Las Vegas. To get people to go out. You know how many domestic battery calls happen throughout the night? Like tons. So, but I think it's a way of prevention. And the one case that we talked about in Utah where, what's the case again?
Gabby Petito.
Petito case. In that situation, I would say on the most part, from my experience, yes, that if there was some type of marks, they actually talked about in the video that they went hands-on or something. I believe that they got into an altercation. So once the altercation is confirmed, then one of them should go to jail. And whether the charges stick or not, the goal is not really concerned about sticking in regards to the domestic battery, but conviction. It's more about taking someone out of the space so they make sure they don't get killed.
Yeah.
So in the situation with Rachel, you later found out with these pictures by using Apple Forensics, which is the first time I've heard that.
Yes.
I like that. One thing that's interesting, which I think you need to do is with Apple Forensics or so on, I think you need to print out the dates and times of the pictures.
Right.
Also look at the mapping, the data where it took place. Like take a map and see where it is. Because every picture has that data. Did you ever look at that?
Some of it I've done. So here's what's really disturbing. On September 19th, 2020, exactly 3 years, my daughter was changing her child with the perpetrator at her home.
Mm-hmm.
At her home. Okay? The perpetrator attacked my daughter. Okay? Let me go back just 1 second, though. Remember I was talking about the counseling?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I called the counselor up. Okay? The counselor told me there's HIPAA laws in place. I already knew what was going on because my daughter had spoke to my wife already. The counselor would not counsel the two of them because she said the perpetrator had a huge anger problem that was above her expertise. At that point, my daughter said to the perpetrator, "You have to move out of my home." I have video of him moving out of the home. Okay, I have actual video that my daughter taped and I recovered from Apple Forensic Technicians. So, I don't want to say, I don't know exact timing, but a short time later is when they're exchanging a child now, right? The perpetrator attacks my daughter. My daughter locks herself in the bathroom. Okay?
With the child. The
No.
child's with her. Okay,
No, the child is, he's got his child involved in this whole thing. I'll tell you what happened. So now she gets a chance to escape. She flees her home. Now he confiscates her keys, okay? Her phone. So she has nothing. She's running for her life. So he's already broken. He's attacked her. He's confiscated her keys and her phone. That's 3 laws already broken. Okay? She flees her home. She runs to a safe Smith's Food King and hitches a ride from a stranger to our house in Summerlin. I was just attacked. She's shaking. Okay?
When was this one? When was this?
This
time?
was September 19th, 2020.
Okay, September 19th, okay.
2020.
I remember like it was it's fresh.
And when did she pass?
Exactly 90 days later.
Okay.
Exactly 90 days later.
Okay.
Okay, so I called the police right away. You know, we'll be right over. You'll be right over. What do you mean? I'm waiting. I'm 20 minutes. I said, hell with this. We're going over to your home. Find out what the hell's going on. Now, the perpetrator's father is already there.
Mm-hmm.
What's he doing there? Our grandson is already in the car. What's going on there? So, and it doesn't matter what type of training I've had in the military or what type of instinct I have, but I knew that this was an ambush. Something wasn't right here. Okay? You've got 4 police officers. Not one, not 2, but 4 on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're gonna interrogate my daughter.
So he called the cops.
He called the cops.
Trying to turn it all on her.
Why? Why did he do that? Why do you think? They were in battle for custody in the courts.
Yes.
The only way he can get any type of gain any type of because she paid for everything. She paid for insurance, private school. He paid for nothing. The only way he can gain advantage was to get her arrested.
Yes.
This is all pre-planned. And when I talked to SafeNest about it, they said, oh, that happens all the time. It's not unusual. So this is all pre-planned. Someone knew someone at Metro to pull this off. 100%.
Why do you say that?
Because, number one, they didn't call PS 417 at all. Number two, I pleaded with the officers. I says, my daughter's pregnant. My daughter suffers panic disorder, mental illness. Okay? My daughter's underweight. My daughter barely is trying to get back to work, and she pays for everything for her son. This guy is lying. He's perjuring himself. We're in the middle of COVID-19, and you're going to arrest my daughter? Really? These guys got so confused they don't know which way was up or down.
In this situation, though, this was just a situation where she got arrested?
She got brutally arrested, and she was brutally incarcerated.
Okay. This was September 19, 2020.
Yes.
90 days later, right? I'm jumping a little bit. 90 days later is when she passes. But basically, what you're saying, that incident that she got arrested, but you don't know why. Did you ever see a police report?
He claims,
okay,
because he bit his lip. He was bleeding a little bit from the mouth.
Okay.
Now, according to the detective, his name was Jason. Overall, this whole thing, he says, you know what? They bite their lip all the time. I would have never arrested your daughter. I don't know why she was arrested.
Well, here's what I'll share with you in that regards. There are a lot of people that, if you know the game, like right now, if I punch myself in the face a few times and I call the police and she's not here and I'd say, he just punched me, they're going to take, and we're family, you know what I'm saying? Family, roommates, they're going to take you to jail. And the bottom line is, whether the charge sticks or not, they're doing that to make sure that basically that we don't kill each other. It could be the wrong person. I would say in my career of 17 years of a cop, I'm sure I took the wrong person to jail.
Yeah.
It just, you don't know. You're quarterbacking a situation. The only thing good about taking your daughter away that time is that, I mean, technically the goal really is to take away from the situation, whether the charges stick or not, get with the victim out of the kid, figure out the story, separate them. Someone eventually gets a temporary protective order. The goal is to prevent basically death and substantial bodily harm. So in that situation for that day, she got arrested, right?
She got arrested.
He may have played the system because some people know the system.
Yeah, that's true. How long was she in jail?
Well, here's what happened, okay? So I'm pleading with the office. I finally got video cams. Okay, after 2 years, I finally went through a legislator's office and the Nevada State Police. I'm starting to get all the body cams now, which I've been trying to get since day one. So the bottom line is this. The police officers had a video which I gave them, and I have it here.
Okay.
Okay. At 2 a.m. that morning.
Which one, on September 19th?
Yes.
Okay.
the perpetrator is verbally abusing my daughter. He's drunk out of his mind, high out of his mind. I gave it to the police officer. I have this on video here. He's listening to this video in his car. It's on body cam. After seeing that video, he still doesn't arrest the perpetrator. He still arrests my daughter. That's why I know it's an ambush.
Well, here's the situation. I'm not saying that officer's right or wrong, whatever. I don't know the story. I wasn't there. Like most officers don't want to quarterback the situation. The officer can make a mistake. But here's the situation. For that particular situation, she was arrested. Charges can get stopped. But the goal was to prevent something, seriously happening. After that incident, was she ever arrested again?
Well, here's what happened. So they got all confused.
Okay.
They didn't offer the PS-417, which they should have called up. I didn't even know about the program.
But they could have called PS-417 for the guy. They could have thought that he was the victim, right?
Well, they could have called PS-417.
How do you know it wasn't called?
Because no one came out.
But how do you know? Did you ever read the police report that day to see if it was like if I was a cop?
I didn't.
I would document it.
I didn't know about PS-417. It was never
Okay.
mentioned. I found out about afterward. Now here's the thing. So these guys are all confused. They have no idea what's going. They don't know what to do.
Got it.
They call up the sergeant. The sergeant's going to back them up.
Well, just to let you know, I've done that before. I would call another cop. Or I would call a supervisor. And by the way, I'm not trying to quarterback I'm not trying to protect the officer, but I'm just saying, I would say, hey, John T, what do you think?
Yeah.
Sometimes John T would be like, you know what? I think we should arrest the guy. But you know what? I think it's the girl. The girl said this, she said that. And then if I was the primary officer, I would have to make that call.
Can you let him tell the story,
Yeah.
please,
What
for a bit?
do
Because
you see?
I like to know what the story is.
What do you see? What do you see
The
here?
whole story. A police report.
Police report, okay?
Okay.
Well, that's is that a statement?
Whose clipboard is that?
The officers?
Thank you. So you got 5 police officers, 4 and a sergeant.
Okay.
My daughter's shaking. These big, burly, 200-plus pound police officers berating her.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have the video inside, so I don't know what happened inside. It's 100 degrees outside. Okay. My daughter's shaking. Okay. They handcuff her. They arrest her. Okay. You mean to tell me 5 police officers, they're so riled about this arrest that they leave the clipboard behind with my daughter's statement on there? This is the original stuff.
Okay.
What's going on here?
It was left in the house?
Yes.
Okay, so they didn't take it with
It's
them.
in my... Why wouldn't they do that?
Right.
You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't want my daughter's statement in the file. They want it out of the file. Do you know why? Because my daughter, even with the severe interrogation, would not bend to the knee. She says in his statement, the perpetrator attacked me. He's lying to you. Understand this. She would not bend to the knee even after 40 minutes of friggin' interrogation by these officers. I'm not bending to the knee.
You know what's really messed up about the system is whoever calls the cops first is presumed the innocent, right? Whoever calls first.
It's not true.
Yes.
But here's the story.
Most of the time.
If you do the proper, listen, the reason why I'm just kind of narrating what the police do is every situation is different. But here's the story. I've left, and I'm just saying, I don't know the story, but I'm going to let
That's
you know.
what I'm saying. But can we go to the story of like how she died?
Yeah, exactly.
Or else we're
I know.
here for a long time.
Let's finish this up. So
can we just go?
recovered by Apple forensic technicians.
You can summarize.
Rachel,
I'm just narrating.
This is from.
Yeah.
This is
I
from.
want him to understand the aspect.
This is from Rachel's iPhone.
It's just
September 23rd, 2020 at 9:09 p.m. That's documented.
What day is this?
That's September 23rd, 2020 at 9:09 a.m.
Okay.
My daughter was brutally arrested. When she got to this Clark County Detention Center, she was brutally body chained, handcuffed, and sat on a cold bench.
Got it.
Okay? I'm going to read word for word.
well. Can you move forward in the story? Okay, so we get it. She's arrested,
But this is her own words of what happened to
okay.
her.
But let me just jump in. The goal of this situation is to narrate, want him to understand because what he's saying is that the police are wrong. So there's a process.
Right, that's what
But
I'm
the truth of the
saying.
matter is the goal really is to find out about if we're saying it's a murder
happened?
or a
Yeah.
suicide. So I guess here's
Yes.
my situation. I understand what happened that day. The bottom line is you're saying the police did a bad job, right? But my main thing is I get it. The bottom line is this guy is not a good guy. She gets arrested from this situation where she shouldn't have been arrested. What you're saying.
Thank you.
The cops basically go out there. But I'm trying to say is that a lot of there's people that I have arrested, I would say, that could have been the wrong people as well. I'm just trying to explain that to you.
Yes.
But the bottom line is the biggest thing is what happened on December 19th. I understand. We already understand that you got pictures. She's been through a domestic battery relationship. There's definitely a problem. After this situation, what happens? She gets released.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, so
does she go back to him?
Basically, what this is saying, and
Okay.
this is documented, she couldn't breathe.
Okay.
With the body change, she's pregnant.
Got it.
The officer there just shoved the body chains aside and told her to shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Okay? This is my daughter who's pregnant. I was able to get her out of there within, I think, 12 hours. She collapsed in the car. She had a bad blood infection. She didn't belong in that jail. She should have never been in jail.
Got it.
She suffered mental illness also, panic disorder.
Prior, right?
Yeah, that's a big friggin' red light to the cops. She's mentally not stable to begin with. Pregnant, COVID-19. This guy's lying. Are you stupid? Look at his record.
Okay.
Okay. Are you dumb? That's why they were so confused. That's why I keep telling you this is an ambush. Let me tell you another little thing here. There's an officer. I'm not going to give you his name. He was so concerned about my daughter's safety. He loaned my daughter his personal 9mm Glock pistol to keep her safe from the perpetrator. All documented. Okay? Now we're finding out that this particular police officer, and again, this is not fact yet, we're going to find this out, may have had a relationship with my daughter. Okay? The plot thickens. Hello? Okay? Now, let's go to the next. There's 3 cases here. This is the first one. Let's go to the next one. So, my daughter's pregnant, and she's being threatened by the perpetrator. I've got text. Abort the baby.
This is after the situation. She's out of jail.
Yes, sir. She's out of jail.
How much longer? A week later?
This is 10/1.
October 1st, okay.
Okay? Another incident.
Okay.
The perpetrator has a girlfriend that wants to take over Lennox's life. Call me mom now. Okay? She doesn't want Rachel in the picture anymore. And she certainly doesn't want the pregnancy.
Baby, yeah.
So we have text where the perpetrator is saying, abort the baby. My parents will pay for it. What? What's going on here? She's still trying to reconcile with this creep. Are you kidding me? On 10/1, she gets attacked inside her home. And she believes it's the perpetrator's girlfriend. Goes in through the back door, not the front, because of all the camera people have, okay? Rushed to the hospital with police escort. Guess what? She loses the baby. You know what that's called? That's called a feticide. Hello? So they do a whole forensic 9 hours plus. They have my daughter take off her clothes. They take a forensic investigation. After the whole investigation is done, you know what they tell my daughter? She's not telling the truth. Why in the hell would she make something up like that? We got document that shows that this probably happened the way she said it. So now they're threatening to arrest her again.
This is October 1st.
Yes. They're threatening to arrest her again for making a false statement to the police.
Do you think her mental illness had anything to do with that part?
Do I think she was getting back because the perpetrator had her arrested? The truth of the matter is, I don't know 100%. I'll be honest with you.
But do you know, like the cops thinking that she is not telling the truth because of her mental illness? Could that be?
They don't care about the mental. They would have never. The mental. They don't. They not only don't care, but they don't understand it.
Okay.
That's why this program's in place.
But they knew about it.
Well, of course.
Right? Oh, okay.
It's all on video.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. For them to say something like that, maybe they thought she's mentally ill and she made it up, is what I'm thinking that they're thinking.
First of all, she's afraid of the cops. She's not going to call the. When she told she told her mom that they attacked. So I'm not calling the cops. I'm afraid of them.
Okay.
Her mother said, "Call the cops. You have to. You were just attacked.
Yes. Oh.
You were kicked in the belly or whatever. You know, you have to call the cops."
That's crazy.
Yeah, no kidding.
And she didn't. But she knows it was the girlfriend, right?
She thinks.
She didn't see it?
Well, it was dark. I says, "Listen, I'm going to tell you. I'm very straight. And just so you know, David, I want to make this real clear. I didn't tell you this. I don't know if I said it at the beginning. I support the police. I don't believe in defunding the police. But there are bad cops out there, and these are bad cops.
Absolutely.
I want them accountable. Okay? Most of the cops are good, and I support them. Defunding the police is totally asinine. Okay? It's the most stupid thing you can do in a society. But these bad cops are making the good cops look bad. 53% of Americans right now today in America want the police defunded because of this type of bullshit. I'm a veteran. I'm clean as a whistle. Never been. I mean, I carry 3 licenses. I'm impeccable. I'm 5-star.
So you think that her boyfriend knew one of the cops or
Absolutely,
has a relationship
100%.
with? Okay.
I think it was the dad. Because in the video, I have one video of the dad.
The dad, yes.
The dad's going to the dad's starting to shake a little bit. He says, this shit's really going. You can almost see him shaking his pants. He's going to the cop. He says, you know, you're not going to arrest her. You can tell he's changing his mind. Someone knew someone to pull this off. I'm 100% on that. There was a bad cop that did this so he can get advantage in the courtroom. That's 100%. I can tell you that. Okay? And I think I have enough, maybe not enough, but I will have enough to prove this in a court of law. Yeah. Okay? So let's go to the second incident. So now you've seen the picture of her. She can't eat. She can't go out. She's afraid of the cops. The cops are going to arrest me again. I knew I shouldn't have reported this.
But she never got arrested.
She never got arrested.
October 1st.
She never got a citation. She never got arrested.
Okay.
They just threatened to arrest her, which is bad enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what panic disorder is?
I got it. I hear you. It's not
okay.
good.
So panic disorder. If you're suffering from panic disorder, and let's say I'm a cop and I threaten to arrest you, it's like 1,000 times bigger to her.
Yeah.
You understand? She suffers this mental illness. So now let's go to the last thing. So exactly 90 days from the day she was brutally arrested, incarcerated, she disappears. She's exchanging her child. Here's the last picture.
So let's just jump forward. After October 1st, what's the next time?
He's going to that story right now.
I'm going right to the death.
You're going right to the similar. Okay.
Okay. Let me just say this.
All of it's a horrible situation. None of it's a good situation.
It's David. It's a friggin' nightmare.
12/19.
So 12/19. I don't even just even show you the last picture. It's pathetic. She's exchanging her child at the park with the perpetrator.
So they're no longer living together?
No. This is in the afternoon.
How long they're not living together? Like 30 days? 60 days?
I'd say over 90 days.
So October, November.
Yeah.
December.
She was out. When she threw him out.
After the main situation, which was about September 23rd, October, November, December. So when the major incident happened, where she went to jail, from there, about 90 days.
No, she threw him out before that.
But it's been a good 90 days before.
Oh, over 90 days.
That they weren't living together.
That's correct. She threw him out. She had to. She had no choice. Remember I told you.
So December 19th.
So now my wife is, where's Rachel? Now, I've recovered from Apple over 200 videos, text, pictures. 80% of the videos are her with her son. She loved her son. She would have never left her son. Okay? So.
How long was she missing?
Well, it happened within a few hours. So the last day of her life, okay, she calls her mom. Now keep in mind, she's afraid of the police. I called up T-Mobile. I have the 4-minute call from T-Mobile. The last call to her mother on a day of her life, she said, Mom, I am scared. I was just raped again. If anything happens to me, you make sure they do an investigation. They take DNA. They do a rape kit. That was it. Hung up. That was the last phone call. I've got that phone call from T-Mobile. The last day of her life. The last video of her life. Now, she's videoing this exchange. Now, don't keep in mind, I have 200 videos. Complete. The last video that she tried to record is cut off.
From her phone.
Yes.
Okay, that was December
like
19th?
deleted or?
No, it just was cut off. It was like someone stopped it.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't. No, I have it.
She was recording it and then it got stopped.
I have the video where
Yeah.
it's cut. It's the only video out of 200 that was cut off.
Do you have the video with you?
I probably do, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to play it?
I probably do.
What we'll do also is we'll meet up another day.
Thank you.
I'd like to go through all this stuff as well.
Yeah, let me finish this up.
Yeah,
I
please.
do have the video.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're worried. My wife's calling. There's nobody answering. So now we go to her house. The front door's open. The sliding back door is open. There's a NutriBullet on the counter. This is the perpetrator's NutriBullet.
What do you say NutriBullet? What is it?
It's a thing that mixes shit up.
Shake.
Oh,
a
yeah,
shake
yeah,
maker
yeah,
kind of.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, there's
yeah.
a blue substance.
It's his?
It's his NutriBullet. Somehow it reappears in the house. There's a cheap bottle of vodka. It's real cheap crap. There's a lighter, a pink lighter, and Marlboro cigarettes.
All his stuff.
Guess what the girlfriend smokes? Marlboro. Guess whose lighter's pink?
Oh.
The girlfriend's. There's
Wait a second. Whose girlfriend?
the perpetrator's girlfriend.
Okay, so you think the perpetrator's girlfriend was there? And most likely him and the girlfriend.
Pink lighter, unless he just
Now we
took
got.
the
Now
lighter.
wait a minute. Now we got a vacuum cord laying on the ground that was yanked out of the vacuum.
Okay.
Now, do you think she has the strength to do that? Hell no. I know she's dead. I go up. She's laying in her bed. I try to revive her. She's fucking dead.
You felt that she was dead when you walked into the house seeing those things?
I just knew. I fucking knew. My heart just went fucking in my foot. I knew.
Because the rear slider door was
Let
open
me just
or
say
unlocked?
The front door was open.
Let me just say something. I don't know what it is about me, but all my life I've had a sixth sense. And it's been like 98% right on the money. I know this was an ambush when she
Okay.
was arrested. I knew she was dead before I walked up those stairs. There's no way. I can't explain to you. I can't. When you see your daughter dead in the bed, you go into a different zone, man. You're not even. It's like you're not there. It's a 2-week fucking. You're done. My wife screamed. I tried to revive her. I called 911. I called 911.
Was the door forced open?
The door was open.
But was it forced? Was it kicked in or something?
Look, they had access to the house.
No locks were changed or nothing.
I believe the locks were changed, but I believe, again, this is all a mystery. How did he get keys again?
Yeah, probably from her.
How did he get to the back door?
Yes.
This was going to the back. Bottom line is this: she's dead in her bed, and the police come to, and you know, my wife's going crazy. I have to rush her to the hospital. So now here we go here. This is really bad. My wife, and I'm going to try to read to you from the GoFundMe because it's on the GoFundMe. This is where it gets, you know.
And this was in 2020, right? You said this happened 2020.
Yes.
Okay.
So now,
The most terrible thing I would think as a parent is to outlive your kids.
it's not natural. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I can't explain to you in words the hell that we're going through. I can't even, you know, it's like.
Quick question. I just wanted to reenact. You're saying when you walked up to the door, the front door, it was unlocked or open?
It was a little bit open.
A little bit open.
And the back door, sliding door was open.
Okay.
So my guess is
Was this like totally open, like no screen, or is it?
I don't think there was a screen. It
Okay.
was just maybe open, you know.
So you could walk right through.
Oh,
from
hell
there.
yeah, absolutely.
And the front door was open a little bit. Okay. Any
Yeah.
cars in front?
No, here, you're going to love this one. So now she has a garage, right? Now
Okay.
this is where I just don't understand why they didn't investigate. So my daughter's car is parked a block up. Her SUV's parked a block and a half away. She's got a garage.
Yeah.
Okay, blocking up for
The SUV is totally emptied out. There's no change of clothes. There's no empty bottles. There's nothing in it's totally stripped out.
Okay.
Parked a block and a half away. What's going on there?
That's weird.
You think?
Yeah.
You friggin' think that might be weird?
Yeah.
You think when she came home, where would she go? She parks in a garage.
Okay, blocking halfway now.
Right. Or at least in front of her house. Yeah. Why? Yeah.
But she's got a whole open garage. Closed, it's safe.
Okay.
Why is she parked a block and a half away?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's
Wait, so you're saying the police didn't investigate at all?
You're gonna love this. You're gonna
Really?
When you hear this, you're just gonna. So I'm just gonna read it to you the way it's written here. Been over this so many times. Crime scene. My wife's in hysterics. She's talking to the police. She's talking about the 7 years of domestic violence and sexual violence, so which they have record of. How many times? They have record of this, okay? This is not a mystery.
Right.
She says, make sure. She was just raped again. Make sure DNA is taken from her. Make sure you do a rape kit. Make sure you do a homicide investigation. Guess what they did? No last goodbye to our daughter. Extremely cruel and unlawful. Extreme violation of our civil rights. No DNA from Rachel's clothes, under her fingernails or anywhere. No rape kit. No fingerprints. No homicide investigation. No bagged evidence. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department failed to collect and preserve the evidence.
Who said this?
I'm saying it. That they didn't do anything. Why? Lieutenant Orlando Guerrero. We spoke to him. He called us 3/10 of 2022, between 2:01 p.m. and 2:44 p.m. He wants to investigate. What's going on?
Oh, 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to get what the hell's.
Okay.
He takes all the numbers. He gets the perpetrators' full names, and he tells me he's required to get the okay from the DA, AG, or Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to go ahead with this cold case. He says every death is treated like a homicide until proven otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they do a homicide investigation?
Yeah, right after. Yes.
What the hell's going on? So he never gets the okay. Now here you're gonna love it. I'm trying to get the body cams, right? I talked to a Mike Toomey, detective. Thursday, 2/3/22 at 10:19 p.m. I said, sir, I need all the body cams. I'm not getting them all. What the hell's going on? You know what he says to me? Sometimes we turn off the body cams to save batteries. What? Lieutenant Orlando Guerrero says, that officer's not telling you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He's lying to you. So now I got police officers lying to me. Flat out lying to me. So what's going on here? Okay? Now I'm going to give you a few ideas of why they didn't do a homicide investigation. Number one, it all goes back to this brutal arrest and brutal incarceration. If they knew that it was going to lead to her death 90 days later, I guarantee they would have never arrested her. Okay? That's a big red flag. Number two, whoever this police officer is that's involved, that might be a problem.
No, he doesn't want his name to come out.
There's something they're protecting. There's someone being protected here. Okay, there's something going on here. It's not my imagination. So the bottom line is this. I showed you pictures. Okay? We need to get closure. The nurse taking care of my wife who's now in hospice. If you don't get closure, she went through something like this. She lost a niece, was 16 months old. They got the perpetrators behind. If she don't get this type of closure, her chances are going to be tough for her to survive. She's not eating, okay? We want closure.
Are you trying to raise the money to do your own investigation? Have you done your own investigation?
Perry, His name is Perry. He's also an Air Force veteran.
Mm-hmm.
The Winter case. It was on accidental overdose, suicide, or murder to show. Just on recently. The perpetrator murdered his wife for an insurance policy. And the police stamped suicide. Mm-hmm. They tried to do this with my daughter, 2 suicides. I says, really? Really, guys? We changed that real quick.
Wow.
The coroner said, sir, we'll never go back to suicide. There's nothing that substantiates suicide here. There's only one way this can go. That's homicide. Okay, so now they make a mistake, Henderson police, because they closed the case. It's a homicide. I mean, it's a suicide. This is just on.
Wow.
The Winter family says, what? They have a lot of money. They hire Perry, the private investigator, and give him thought to investigate this crap. Guess what?
They found their own answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the Henderson police have to get after butts and finish the investigation.
Right.
And guess what? The perpetrator's behind bars right now.
Oh, he is?
That's right.
Oh.
We're gonna hire. I want to hire the same.
What is he? What is he arrested for?
Oh, the other. No,
he murdered his wife for the insurance.
Oh, that's the other case.
That's the Winter case.
Yeah, not his
This
case.
just happened.
Yeah, another one.
Did they
Took 6 years.
Did they even question her
No.
boyfriend?
No.
After the
Hey.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Let's go back. The bottom line is this: some detective was assigned to this case for your stepdaughter.
Yeah. 2 years later.
What was the end result? I mean, we don't have the reports. I mean, he's saying this.
The end result was.
They're saying it was a suicide.
Yeah, but
how?
Okay, she ingested this cocktail, same as the Winter girl did.
Okay.
But the only thing they left out was it was a forced ingestion.
Got it,
okay, in other words, you know what burking is?
No.
If you go back to the Binion case, okay, burking is a term. It goes back to Old England. There was a murderer that was killing people.
Okay.
And how he did it was he got on her chest and he forced a cocktail down her throat. There was no visible marks.
Got it.
That's called burking.
So she had it in her stomach.
Yes.
This cocktail
This
with the vodka.
And guess what else was in her stomach, which was changed? What is it, Chinese heroin? Some kind of friggin' heroin. My daughter doesn't take heroin.
Wow.
But this guy who's a failed musician who takes drugs, maybe where did the heroin come from? So bottom line is this, we believe she was burked, and this cocktail was forced down her throat. Okay? By who?
By him and the girlfriend.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I can't.
Are there any cameras in the home?
No.
2020. Any door cameras?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
But see, from my heart, I can prove the domestic violence. I can put them away.
Yeah,
from
no,
it.
I hear you.
But I can't. Because they didn't do a homicide investigation, I can't say that he murdered her.
Got it.
I can't say that the girlfriend murdered her. But the motives, guess what?
I hear you. I agree with that.
Okay, here's something. The other case was the insurance, right? So now my daughter takes out, before she's talking to her mom one day, she says, I'm taking out a life insurance policy on my son Lennox in case something happens to me. What? She takes out a very...
When was that? Do you have the date?
This was sometime probably in 2020.
But like
we don't know.
After September 19th?
Yeah. No, before.
Before September 19th.
Yeah, we don't know because we don't have the insurance policy. This guy confiscated it out of her safe or something when he was in the home.
Do you know if he collected?
Here's what we find out.
They don't know.
So she dies, right?
Oh, you said the next day.
On Monday, this guy is calling up the insurance guy. He's talking to this guy named Scott Fury. He's trying to collect the insurance.
Oh, okay.
Scott's saying, that's for your son. It's not for you. Hello.
Yeah.
Now, he waits 18 months. He lays low for 18 months. Listen to this now. You're going to love this. He hires a predatory attorney. He has no money to pay the attorney, right? But he wants his insurance money. In Nevada, if this guy has no money and can't help his, support his kid, there might be a way to get this insurance money in Nevada. They're just a court date that just passed up. It's been they keep pushing it because now they know we're on them. Our judges of Nevada, Alex, is filming this court case in court. What the hell is going on? You extorting money from your son? Really? Do you think that murder could be a motive for an insurance policy? Mm-hmm. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Thank you. You think that might be a red flag?
So this is what I want to share with this. First of all, I'd like for you to get all your paperwork, all the photos, all the videos. I'd like to sit down with you privately.
Okay.
Go through all this stuff. But this is what I'll share with you. And I don't need to be... Look, anything can happen in regards to police and corruption and so on. Personally, when there's a murder, there's a lot of people that come out there. The coroner, which is separate, that comes out. Like, what is the coroner's report? Like, I'd like to see all the reports. I'm not saying corruption cannot take place, but on a whole, there's so many people that come out. A sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain. The coroner is is separate. That basically determines the death.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
But
hold
I
on.
do agree
They're not
with you.
separate. Wait a minute. You need to know this. Be very clear on this.
The coroner's the only one that basically can determine death.
Wait a minute now. Murphy was a coroner at the time. You know what Murphy is?
No.
Now you're going to love this one. This is happening in LA County too. And this is alarming. There's a checklist on how our daughter died.
Okay.
Metro checks off the checklist and hands it to the coroner. Guess what they checked off? Suicide. Mm-hmm. Guess what they put on guess what the coroner put on the thing? Suicide. Mm. What? The coroner apologized, the medical examiner apologized to us, and now the new coroner, Milena, said, you know what? There's nothing to support suicide here. It's going to be undetermined. That's less than 3% in this country, undetermined. Mm. That's called a cold case. Mm-hmm. She said, I promise you, it will never go back to suicide. There's only one way this can go. And guess what that is? Homicide. Mm. But, sir, I can't put homicide on it until I get the friggin' proof. Mm-hmm. Metro didn't do a homicide investigation. That's their protocol. That's their code of honor. Mm. That's what they signed on for to do. They didn't do it. Why? What they covering up?
I mean, this is what I share. It doesn't make sense. The whole. When it doesn't make sense with
law
enforcement.
Thank you.
I do agree. It definitely sounds like a homicide. No doubt about it.
Thank you.
So I agree with that aspect. Some of the aspects with law enforcement, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know quarterback these situations. There's internal affairs. People can make complaints. They can investigate. The Attorney General's office. A lot of things that are out there. Do I believe that these officers were truly like corrupt on September 19th and so on? No, I don't. Mm-hmm. Have I left a witness statement basically at someone's house before because there was a lot of stuff going on? I've done that. I went back and picked it up. But I'm not saying...
But 5 police officers?
I've been on scenes more.
I understand 1, but 5 including a sergeant? Really?
People will say in Henderson that, which is a very common complaint.
That's like leaving your friggin' head. That's like walking out of the house and leaving your head in the bedroom.
There's been numerous times I've had 5, 6 officers at a scene from the beginning. Once it's calm and things are set up and stable, then the officers will go back to patrol, do their own thing.
But where's your mind at when you do something? I mean, is that competent? Or is that just stupidity? When you do, that's something extremely incompetent.
Why, we send 5 officers?
Leaving a friggin' clipboard behind with my daughter's statement.
Here's the story. I don't know, I wasn't there. I'm just saying, have I left a witness statement or a statement where I would go back later, an accident, something like that? It has happened. If you're saying that all those cops were corrupt and the sergeant, I just don't see that. Can it take place? Yeah, possible. Anything can happen in this world, right? But I'm just saying,
it could have been one cop, and the other cop just going along with him.
Why not just take the statement?
Human error.
I'm just saying this, and this is another story. Why not take the statement? If I was really corrupt, just throw it in the garbage. Like, why leave it there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you would just say, oh, I submitted the witness statement.
That's a good question.
Why leave it there?
That's a very good question.
It's like leaving evidence at a scene, so you wouldn't do that.
That's a very good question.
But what I will share with you is this.
I don't have an answer.
Forget all that stuff in general. The bottom line is this. At this point in time, in regards to the suicide or murder, I do agree, definitely suspicious. Car down the block, open door. I don't understand what the detectives were doing. The bottom line is they definitely need to push forward. I do agree with that. So, with that basically being said, right now they're saying it's a suicide. We believe it's a homicide. We need to further the investigation. The truth is, someone really probably should, contact the insurance company. Mm-hmm. Have you done that? The insurance company, try to reach out to them?
I let them know what was going on.
Okay, good.
Okay. I contacted the legal aid.
Okay.
I talked to the attorney.
Okay.
I says, look, here's what's going on. And he didn't seem to give a shit.
Okay.
The bottom line is, whatever age that policy,
okay,
probably 18 or whatever it is,
it still has to be held
here's the bottom line. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The perpetrator hired an attorney, and I think right now the bill is $2,000 or more. Okay, I know that he hasn't paid the attorney. The bottom line is this money, if they somehow extort this money out of this policy, okay, the money from this policy is going to pay the attorneys.
Yeah.
It's going to pay all the court costs.
Yep.
They do a yearly review, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and this guy's going to get whatever they give him, but the lion's share is going to go to the attorneys. That's what I understand.
Usually.
And guess what? When this child turns 18 or 21, whatever the day, he's going to want to know, number one, what happened to my mom?
Of course.
Why is her death undetermined? Dad, what happened to my mom? Number two, where is my money?
May I ask how much the
We don't
policy
know.
is?
That's the problem.
Oh, they
was
didn't tell you?
Confidential information.
Oh, okay.
No, he confiscated the policy. We never seen it. I found out, okay, by the insurance. It was it was on I believe it was Facebook. Believe me, Facebook is powerful. And something about insurance. Then we called the guy up, the Scott Fury. I can tell you his name. And he says, yeah, he called up already. He thinks the money's for him.
But he couldn't tell you any info.
No, he said because the only two people on that policy is your deceased daughter and
son.
And the son.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you anything.
Oh man.
But obviously the lawyers, I mean the policies, they have it.
Yeah. The lawyers would be able to see that, obviously.
So this Perry, this detective, could help uncover a lot of this.
Ah.
Follow me?
Yes.
He could question the perpetrator. He can question the girlfriend. He can question the cop. Let me tell you something else. The police officer has a daughter, and the daughter is Air Force, Iraq war veteran. My daughter was very close with her, got her a job where she worked, lived with her, okay? This was her dad. When the girls were helping me out to clear up the stuff out of my daughter's house, her girlfriend's. This girl broke down and went to her knees because of my daughter's death. I said, honey, is there anything that you can tell me? Is there anything that you want to tell me?
Right.
There's something she knows, and I promise you, she'll break down.
Oh, she's not, but she didn't tell you anything, huh?
Well, don't forget, this was all fresh. We were,
Yeah.
I just want to know, all the other girls didn't break down except for her.
And
What's
she's
going
the
on?
Sheriff's daughter? Is that what you said?
The Metro officer is her dad.
Ah, yes.
The one that loaned my
gun.
daughter
The gun.
the 9mm Glock. And I talked to him on the phone. I thanked him. Thank you for doing this for my daughter. I had no idea. On the day of the arrest, I tried to call the guy. Nothing. He disappears. Okay. Also, he never reached back with me. He says, the last text I got was he's doing warrants. He never got back with me. At one of the video cams, the perpetrator's talking to the police officer, and he says to the police, what about, I'm not going to mention his name.
Same guy.
What about this police officer?
Uh-huh.
And the other police officer, don't worry about him. What's going on there? I finally got that. This is on body cam.
Yeah, so there's a relation. He knows.
There's something going on with this police officer. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did your daughter ever tell you that she's dating a cop?
She never said she was dating a cop.
Did she say she was dating
But
someone
during
else?
the course of whatever this was, what she had mentioned to my wife, that this person, we're not getting along. But she never went and said, I'm dating this guy. But put two and two together. My daughter was very private.
So what do you think? If you think there's another guy and he was a cop, what are your
don't
thoughts
know.
with that?
I
Are you
don't
saying
know.
the cop's involved with a possible homicide? Who do you think it really is? It's the ex? It's the ex and his
In
girlfriend?
my
or do you
gut,
think,
my
are you
gut
saying it's
feeling,
a new boyfriend.
there's a lot of
It doesn't make sense for the new relationship when the
No.
old relationship basically
for
shows.
for me, follow the money.
God, yeah, I agree.
You
with
got to
that.
have insurance policy. That to me would be the number one suspect.
We are going to meet next week.
The second one would be the girlfriend. The third one would be the cop.
Got it.
That's just my viewpoint.
Got it. I mean, anything can happen in this world. But yes, I agree with follow the money. Plus, you have prior history. You have all these text messages or phones, videos. Like, you got all the prior. Like, I couldn't imagine this cop.
Did you get the text messages as well with the photos? So you know who she was corresponding with then?
I got text messages where, okay, my daughter and the boyfriend weren't faithful. I got a text message where she's saying, I'm afraid of you.
Okay.
I got a text message where this guy.
I'm afraid of you too. Who? The ex?
Yeah, she's dating outside of this relationship.
Yeah.
This guy finds out and goes to this PT pubs, and I believe he laid in wait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when this guy went into the pub, this PT's pub, he went in there and got him outside and beat the living hell out of him.
Who?
Beat him to a pulp. This guy that was dating my daughter.
Oh, to the ex.
And beat him to a pulp. This guy was so afraid of this guy, he wouldn't report it.
He wouldn't report it.
No,
yes.
he was afraid. Definitely, this guy's violent.
Oh.
Beat the living, you know what, out of him.
Do you think it was the
officer? No, it was the perpetrator.
Guy.
It was a perpetrator.
Oh, the perpetrator went and beat her new boyfriend.
To a
new boyfriend. Okay.
And the boyfriend was living with someone named Rachel, and my daughter. You got to report this.
Okay.
Oh,
he was too afraid to report the assault.
Okay.
I talked to the guy. You know what the guy tells me?
Oh, you did talk to that guy. Uh-huh.
I says, well, what's going on? He says, nothing happened. He says, we're just a scuffle. A scuffle? He beat the living you know what out of you, man.
Oh, wow.
What are you lying for? Are you going to perjure yourself when the police officer investigates this?
Yeah.
Or the detective? Are you going to perjure yourself? He beat the living you know what out of you.
That's because it's shameful. He's ashamed that he got
Not
beat
only
up.
ashamed, but I think he's generally afraid.
Mm-hmm.
When someone beats you to a pulp and you don't report it, there's got to be some fear there.
Right.
If you report this.
Yeah.
And this guy's still threatening people. We have texts where he's still threatening people, texting.
Yeah.
This guy is still out loose, man.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Even if the worst charge was domestic violence, that's a charge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yeah. That's a friggin' start. Because that we can prove. I have witnesses that will go in front of a grand jury and testify that there's domestic violence here. That's a start.
I bet you if the new girlfriend starts calling the cops or ends up dead, then they'll investigate.
Yeah, what the new girlfriend...
Right. Let's do this, because...
I know, I ran over my...
the bottom line is that we can go back and forth the situation. I need to see all the police reports. I need to see all that stuff. The bottom line is
I
that
sent you...
it's still,
You're going to really look into this?
Yeah, this is what I do.
Oh, okay.
I sent you the numbers, didn't I? If I didn't...
You sent me a bunch of information, but what I want to do is, like, to me... Like the videos, like I got to see it. I got to see facial gestures. I got to read the text message. I got to see the emotion. That's why I always want to meet people in person. People always want to do Zoom. Like, let's
and you
do
have
Zoom.
time for all this since you're so busy?
Of course, that's what I do. That's we meet, we sit down, we go.
You have an assistant.
I want all the information. This is my assistant, John T.
No,
the goal is this: that I want all the information, but like I want to see the video. I want to see the text message.
Yeah.
I want to feel it. I want to see it. I want to see.
I will email you.
Have your file.
No,
right?
we will
You
meet
have a
together.
file?
This is what we'll do. We're going to meet together like next week. I want you to bring all the information together, all the paperwork, and we'll sit down. We'll review it all.
Yeah.
The bottom line is like just like any other private investigator. I mean, just because of license, I was a cop for 17 years. You give me a whole file, I can look at it and see what it says. It's not a problem. Do I think that there's corruption going on? Did you go to internal affairs? Did you make a complaint? I need to see emails.
Internal affairs investigated.
What happened with that?
Guess what? Suicide.
Really?
I had the FBI investigate.
I mean, I want to see all this paper. Why they're saying it's suicide? Why?
Well, now they're not saying suicide now. They can't because that's gone away.
Oh, that's before.
No, they can't. They're see. Here's what's happened.
But why can't they say it's suicide anymore? What's the reason why?
Because it's been changed to undetermined. Suicide doesn't exist.
Why'd they change it?
The coroner changed it.
Okay, that's
There's
good.
nothing to support suicide. It's bullshit.
When did the coroner change it?
Oh, like within the first few months after we started to have a discussion with the new coroner.
So that's good.
So, but here's what's really, okay, here's the bottom line.
Is the coroner still investigating
In 2020, right?
The coroner will take everything that we have. But the challenge is, again, they didn't do an investigation. Here's what's really happened, in my viewpoint.
See, I don't. See, here's what I want to share with you. I'm not trying to debate it. I believe an investigation was done. The bottom line is, if they don't have enough information, just like
Was it a
Tupac Shakur
homicide
in 20
investigation,
in
though? No fingerprints.
When you say, here's the story. They could have done a bad investigation.
They
right?
did it. They did what they call death investigation, which means bullshit.
I mean,
no fingerprints, no rape kit, nothing.
Here's what I'm trying to say is this. I can't believe that if that stuff didn't happen, then we have a problem.
Thank
but
you.
The bottom line is, it doesn't make it a death, suicide. It's an investigation. They're detectives. They're supposed to go out and investigate the situation.
What about
it's not like
fingerprints?
The question.
What about questioning?
But my question to you is there a police report? How do you know there's no fingerprints? I used to go fingerprints as a patrol officer for a burglary. You're telling me that no one took fingerprints in the house?
Nothing.
I just can't believe that. So
I'll give you the report.
Show me.
I'll give you the report.
Show me the report. Show me all the stuff. Then we have some questions. Then we'll say, why were there not fingerprints? So I need to see all the reports. It doesn't make sense. A regular patrol cop, if someone broke into a car, they're going to do fingerprints. A cop will go out and do that. So, the question is, why did they not do it? Crime scene came out there. Something had to be done. For you, again, what I'm trying to say is
Here's the
this.
other question. They did an entire CSI investigation on the second incident, but no investigation on the
Perfect
death.
situation. When you talk about the Winter case, with the case in Utah, you saw the video. That I could clearly say the officer should have taken someone to jail that day. That would have prevented death. Very, very clear. You can see that. So their policy is wrong. They didn't follow federal guidelines. If it's domestic battery, he used bad judgment, right? So the question is, once I look at over all this information, we can see. Now let's just jump. You started a GoFundMe page as we talk. Chase is going to show the GoFundMe page. What is the GoFundMe page? What is it listed as?
$50K.
$50,000. But what is it GoFundMe for? What it basically says
it's to
for
hire
Rachel Brooks. Let's throw that on the screen. So we have Justice for Rachel.
I called
is the profile name.
Yeah, I called.
Tell us about it.
I called Detective Perry,
the
Air Force veteran who did the Winter case, and I says, you got to give me a bottom line. I don't have this type of money, which most people don't. He understands that.
Okay.
I got to start a GoFundMe.
Okay.
He says, start it at $50K. That's why it's $50K.
So he thinks he needs $50K for the investigation.
That's just to get a
private investigation.
It could be more. So you're talking to go out and look at these people, to investigate them, to what do you call? I don't want to say the word's not state. They're going to sit there in a car and watch their remove.
Surveillance.
Okay? So thank you. That's the word. It costs a lot of money. He's got a team in place. Look at what he did with this Winter case. You'll see what I'm talking about. The difference in this case, in the Winter case, and this is where it gets real sticky. In my viewpoint, no matter how we look at this case on my daughter's untimely death, in my viewpoint, it's all going to somehow, some way go back to Metro because they didn't do their friggin' job. That's my viewpoint. If they had done their job,
got it.
I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right
here's
now.
the situation. The bottom line is this: any case can be, for whatever happened,
mishandled.
For whatever happened, the bottom line is you still continue the investigation. Yes, is it somewhat sad that basically you have to do it and you're basically poking holes in the situation?
But my wife's dying too. Don't forget.
I mean, it's a sad situation.
So
Undetermined. What would you do?
And there's prayers for you and your family. I feel bad about the whole situation. But the bottom line is that you're pushing forward. You came on the show. We're talking about
Thank
it.
you.
We'll help you with the GoFundMe page.
Thank you.
We'll basically make some different contacts and push it out. If people have any type of tips, Crime Stopper tips, that they want to supply to local law enforcement
Thank you.
or myself, they can go to Crime Stoppers, which is 702-385-5555. It's 702-385-5555, or they can call the Problem Solver, which is 702-999-1111. Again, 702-999-1111. They could also go to the problemsolver.vegas. You can supply anonymous tips. There's also reward money as well. We have the Crime Solver program.
Do we have Rachel's last name? I'm sorry. It was just Rachel.
Rachel Brooks.
Rachel Shana Brooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the GoFundMe page. We will share that with the community. We'll put them in different groups and so on. Now that you just started it yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will also donate as well to help with the cause.
Thank you.
Let's meet next week. Let's go. I like the biggest thing I want to see is the text messages, emails, phone, video. I like to sit down and kind of go over that all in general. We work with some different private investigators as well.
Thank you.
We can see if some of them want to do some pro bono work to help out as well. So let's work on that together next week.
Could I get your email, David? Thank you.
So I'll get you all of my information.
You want me to copy you too?
I'm so sorry that you're going through.
I don't know.
all this
Listen, my
challenge.
heart
You
is
got my cell. You can text me anytime, 24/7.
I just,
it's a sad situation.
All I'm trying to do here, and I want to find out who did this to my daughter. That's all.
I hear you.
Exactly.
You want closure, you want
What
justice.
happened? Who abused my daughter?
Look, I
like
have 2
this?
daughters, and I can only
You know,
imagine.
And how did it end up
Yeah. You deserve
in,
closure.
in death?
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't we save her? Why couldn't we do something? PS-17, something to save my daughter's life.
I hear you.
Why couldn't we get help from police, from somebody to prevent this?
I hear you.
Why is she dead? Why am I dead? What happened?
Yeah.
There's something. I'm 100% something with a miss her, man.
We'll get down to the bottom of it. It all comes out at the end.
I'm just,
you know,
I'm
it's just timing sometimes.
I'm not just heartbroken, but I'd rather be in the friggin' jungles of Vietnam. This is a nightmare,
Yeah.
and I cry. You see my eyes. If I
It's
go
a sad
I'll
situation.
go into Summerlin, where we raised her. I'll go into Costco or somewhere, and I'll just fucking break out in tears, man. I'll weep.
It's a very sad situation.
I can't stop it. And
Well,
my
Thomas-
wife, thank you, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas,
being
listen,
here.
we're definitely concerned. I definitely want to work with you and help you. I'm very sorry about your loss. Definitely would like to get justice for her. We've done different reward monies before in the past. Whatever we can do to help you out. You can text me 24/7. You got my cell phone number.
Thank you.
So we'll work on this. Is just kind of a start. And plus, we have a video basically talking about it so we could share this message. Again, so if anyone wants to donate any money for the private investigation for Rachel Brooks, it's Justice for Rachel at the GoFundMe page. We'll include that on the problemsolver.vegas. We'll post it as well on the Problem Solver link as well. Again, Thomas, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know it's a sad situation. Again, I'm sorry for your loss, but hopefully talking about it actually somehow helps and people hear your voice, and basically maybe someone comes out with some information. Again, they can call Crime Stoppers. They can call the Problem Solver. They can message us as well. Whatever we do to basically help you and your family get through this difficult time.
Yes.
I hope prayers as well. I know that your wife is not feeling the best, probably because of the stress and anxiety and depression with the loss. So I know it's a difficult situation, and we're here for you if we can help you whatsoever. I know that Sticky Paw Studio, John Orlando, basically the owner of the studio, is always concerned with these types of cases and the problem solver. So whatever we could do, I'll bring this up. Maybe we could be a collaborative effort to help any way that we can. So we'll keep in touch. I really appreciate you coming on the show and explaining the story. And again, we definitely want justice for Rachel Brooks.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Shanti, thanks so much for co-hosting today. I'm David
Sure,
Colmeyer,
honey.
the Problem Solver. Problemsolver.vegas is an app. You can add to your phone. We'll have the information about Rachel Brooks if anyone can help out. Any information whatsoever, any type of tips, information that anyone that wants to share, again, please call Crime Stoppers, Las Vegas Metro. The Problem Solver, again, come forward, be anonymous. If you have any types of tips or information about this particular incident, which actually happened December 19th, 2020. We want closure. We want justice. So again, I'm Dave Colmeyer, the Problem Solver. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Be careful. Be safe.